Thank you, Freddie. I'm Joyce Braverman, the Planning Director in Shaker Heights. Hunter asked me to tell you a little bit about the Van Aken District redevelopment, which is a transit-oriented development in Shaker Heights at the end of the Blue Line. Shaker Heights is very fortunate. We have two rapid lines running through the city, the Blue Line and the Green Line. This is an early concept from 1913. At the bottom you can see it says the New Way, and that was a rapid line between downtown and Shaker Heights. We are an original TOD. We were a streetcar suburb, and the Blue Line especially, which is the red line to the south, is lined with apartments, and Shaker Square is what you see as a circle in 1922 on the, I think it's the left side of the slide. This is a view of the site in 1950. The red line is the Lawrenceville Center, and north is to the bottom. You could see in the middle is RTA operations, and that was used as a rail yard for maintenance at that point. We did do a lot of planning, and that is how I believe we accomplished what we have and the fundraising that we have. 16 years of planning, 5 or 6 major plans, 61 public meetings. And these are the 5 plans I'm going to briefly tell you about. The strategic investment plan was adopted in 2000, and this really set the vision for the area and set us on the course of developing a more walkable mixed-use district. In 2008, we adopted our TOD, Transit-Oriented Development Plan, and again, the vision was a walkable mixed-use district. This plan set the course to take the intersection from a 6-way intersection with 6 streets coming in to only 4 legs. We did this by closing Van Aken Boulevard at Farnsley, relocating Northfield to the south, and this also allowed us to create more regularly shaped development parcels and less wedges. Extending the rapid, the Blue Line, through the intersection was one of the concepts in the plan, and so was creating an intermodal station that could handle 5 or 6 buses, van service, as well as rapid transit service. We worked with RTA in 2010 on the RTA Blue Line extension study, and Van Aken, you can see the logo in the middle, and yellow lines going both to Harvard and 271 and 480 in Warrensville. 480 and Warrensville is the proposed site for the Amazon Fulfillment Center. And this was one concept for the Multimodal Center. The idea was to make bus-to-bus transfers and bus-to-bus rapid transfers in close proximity. Prior to this opening, riders sometimes had to run across 10 lanes of traffic to make connections. And so this was to be a much safer. And this is actually built now minus the shelter. We then worked with RTA on the station plan, and this is when things got real. We had a developer, bus operations need to move, and so we locked ourselves in the room with RTA and the developer and figured out where the substation was going to go, where the busway was going to go, and how each bus was going to enter and exit safely. And that took a couple months, but we got it done. So this is a view of the road reconfiguration. The reconfigured roads are in gray, and you can see that it's a 4-way intersection. This took an intersection that was confusing, congested, unsafe, a lot of accidents. Due to all those accidents, we were able to raise money from the state of Ohio to help fix it. $19 million was raised with our partner, Cuyahoga County Engineer. So here's a view of the roads before. Again, Warrensville has the red line, and north is where the arrow is pointing, and this shows the 6 legs coming in, and after oriented the opposite, well, no, the same way. North is the red arrow. You can see the 4 intersections. This intersection went from what we used to call a 2-latte intersection because we had a Starbucks there and it was a 3-minute wait at the light to 90 seconds wait at the light. And also then pulled the curbs in, added countdown pedestrian signals so it would be easier to cross. We then, last year, adopted our connections framework, and the idea of this framework was how can we connect this new TOD development to the neighborhoods as well as to our cities of Warrensville Heights to the south, both by bike and by ped connections. And this is an inspirational photo of the Indianapolis Cultural Trail. We are right now going to go into construction in 2018 on a piece of this on Farnsley, and in 2019 on Lawrenceville Center Road. We have raised about $1 million for the Farnsley piece and $2.9 million for the Warrensville piece. And we didn't do this alone, and I mentioned our partners, NOACA, ODOT, and RTA, as well as other municipalities, and RMS. RMS is the developer. We were fortunate to have a developer who owned one of the shopping centers and later purchased the other. They're also have the wherewithal. They are the family that once ran for a city, still involved, and they knew how to do this. And so between the ownership that RMS had and the city had, and we put it all together, we now have many acres, about 20 acres now under our control. This will be office development of 60,000 square feet, restaurant and retail of 100,000 square feet, and about 104 luxury apartments. There will be a central park, 3 new public streets, as well as the transit station and parking on site. This, I'm just going to run through very quickly, is the renderings. This is now under construction. This is the apartment building. This is office over retail. This is the apartment building again. You can see the rapid transit, the train running at the bottom of the slide, so it is in very close proximity to the development. And these are some recent photos of the development coming out of the ground. We do not ever stop planning, so right now we are still in the middle of the Warrensville-Northfield corridor plan with our neighbors, Highland Hills, Warrensville Heights, and North Randall. This was done, this is employment centers. The Van Aken is in the circle. You can see the hospitality and office segment in an oval on Chagrin, as well as Bedford Heights and their employment. We also looked at income. A lot of times people in this corridor, both in Shaker and in the other cities, do not own cars, so they are transit dependent. We looked at the service that RTA already provides. The 41 is a very strong line that runs along Warrensville that then connects to the transit center at Van Aken. So we were looking at potential development. At the very bottom, you can see an open red circle. That is the location of the old Randall Park Mall and now the fulfillment center for Amazon. We expect about 2,000 jobs to be there. And we believe that the transit center, the hard line, getting rail through the Blue Line to buses, will be the way that many people who are employed there will get to work. And so we're hopeful that the transit center that we have built can accommodate the buses as well as particularly van service to particular businesses. And that is what I think I'd like to tell you about the Van Aken district. Thank you.